know when you're about to make a wish? When you find a magical genie or rubber lamp or whatever, there's always that moment where the terms and conditions pop up, right? And usually they go something like this. So you got your wish, but for every wish there must be equal and opposite consequences. Not exactly a bad deal, really. You get what you want, and who cares if someone else has to suffer a little bit too? No. Nope. Not these wish. These ones are far, far worse. Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to look at the amulet that grants wishes, but at a terrible cost. Our story begins in the drought-stricken African village of Mafunyane, where life is hard. Crops fail, livestock die, dust storms blow through, and people starve. We meet our hero, Kwame, who farms the land and struggles to keep his family alive. Then one day, while tilling the soil beneath an ancient baobab tree, his hoe strikes something hard and metallic. It's an amulet fashioned from a strange black stone and covered in what seems to be human teeth. The village healer warns Kwame that the artifact, which they call Mkufu or Kivuli, or the Amulet of Shadows, is a terrible thing. Long ago, it was wielded by a witch doctor who used it to rule the nearby kingdoms. With each wish it granted, it took something precious away. Sowing, discord, death, and despair. Buried long ago, it should have stayed that way. But now that it's unearthed, the wishes aren't over. In fact, they're just beginning. Despite the risk, Kwame slips the amulet around his neck and closes his eyes, wishing for rain. Almost immediately, clouds gather overhead and the parched fields are drenched. The skies opened up and pour for days, causing flooding that washes away the topsoil and carries off farm animals, destroying the livelihood Kwame had worked so hard to build. Even worse, the flood carries off 5 of the village's elders, leaving the community without their guidance. Desperate to help his people, Kwame makes another wish to restore them. But when he opens his eyes, they're gone. 7 of the village children have vanished instead. This happens with every wish, whether spoken or even just thought. The amulet takes something precious from the world for its own inscrutable purposes. As time goes on, the amulet fuses itself to Kwame, becoming part of his body. He is shunned by the villagers who know of its power and turns to wandering the countryside, hiding from everyone. But the villagers, corrupted by the knowledge of such power existing in the world, come after him. They try to wrestle the amulet from him, but he flees into the wilderness. From here, the story varies depending on the adaptation. Sometimes it's told as a cautionary tale. Sometimes it's more action-oriented. Either way, Kwame's unintentional wishes cause ever greater destruction. He might walk through a field and wish for food, and an entire herd of dead animals drops from the sky, burying the landscape in their stench and rot. Or he might come across a town and wish to be left alone, and it's instantly buried in an earthquake. Or maybe he finds a river and wishes for drink, and it turns to blood as a punishment for its impurity. Even worse, the longer he wanders, the weaker his control over the amulet becomes. His thoughts themselves can trigger a wish, meaning that even wanting something nice can bring about a terrible consequence. Eventually, Kwame's reputation as a doomsayer spreads far and wide. People come from miles around just to see him, some out of morbid curiosity, some hoping to get a glimpse of the amulet itself, which has become fused to his skin as a birthmark of sorts. Among them is a greedy merchant who has heard tales of the amulet's power and wants it for himself. He strikes a bargain with Kwame, offering to buy his silence with gold and jewels. Just one look at the birthmark is enough to convince him, and he pays handsomely for the chance to steal the amulet for himself. Kwame knows that the only way to stop the suffering caused by the amulet is to relinquish it. But he also doesn't want to pass on the curse to someone else. So as the merchant falls asleep, he makes a final wish. It's not for the destruction of the world or for unimaginable wealth or anything like that. No, it's simply to be free of the amulet. The merchant watches in surprise as it seems to shatter into a million pieces, dissolving into dust that floats away on the wind. But as soon as it's gone, he feels something cold and heavy embedding itself in his chest. Looking down, he sees nothing but perfectly smooth skin. But as he walks home, the birthmark begins to creep up his arm. At that moment, he realizes with dawning horror that his wish has only made him the new vessel of the Amulet of Shadows. Now, this story is part of an oral tradition that extends back centuries. It is most commonly associated with the Kikuyu people of Kenya and has been passed down through storytelling for generations. In many versions, the ending is even more bleak. After making his wish, the main character dies as the amulet's power surges through his body, leaving behind a grave marked only with the single line, "Here lies the man who was never lucky." This tale has all the hallmarks of a classic cautionary story. There's the foolish protagonist who ignores advisor and wiser characters, makes dangerous bargains with supernatural forces, and eventually suffers for it. And it serves as a warning to listeners about the dangers of greed, pride, and the seductive lure of forbidden magic. Stories like this are common throughout many different cultures and serve as a way to teach important lessons to younger members of society. In many ways, this story fits all the requirements of a solid cautionary tale. It's simple, direct, memorable, but there's something deeper at play here as well. This story isn't just trying to teach us that magic is dangerous, it's actually trying to teach us how magic can be dangerous. See? In stories about magic, there is always a difference between how powerful magic is in theory and how powerful it is in practice. In theory, a genie in a bottle or a magical amulet sounds like a great idea. Make a wish and bam, that'll fix it. But in practice, we quickly learn that magic always comes with strings attached. Whether it's the vague retribution of be careful what you wish for, or a clearly defined set of rules like those laid out in a magical contract, magic in fiction always has a price. This story is unique in that it gives us a concrete example of how powerful magic can be when used irresponsibly. When we first meet Kwame, he's just a regular guy trying to get by. He makes a wish to end the drought and immediately causes massive flooding. He tries to undo the damage by bringing back the elders he killed, but instead accidentally sacrifices the children. This continues on until the very end. Every time he makes a wish, no matter how well-intentioned, it causes widespread devastation. This shows us how easy it is to slip into a pattern of unintended consequences when wielding truly limitless power, even though he's not an inherently bad person and even though his intentions are pure. His lack of control leads to needless deaths on a massive scale. It's a cautionary tale about the real danger of magic, how easy it is to wield it poorly, even with the best of intentions. If you like this video, then please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to support more myth and folklore content. What about you? Have you ever stumbled upon a magical artifact? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, don't forget, be good, be kind, and stay curious.